Welcome to Feedback Tool. I'm Chang Hee, your instructor. In this lecture, we are going to cover the following topics. First, what is effective academic writing? Second, related works. Third, how to prompt LLMs for effective feedback. Third, leveraging AI Writer to foster metacognition and self-correction. Fifth, guidelines to access AI-generated feedback. Sixth, AI versus human feedback. First, effective academic writing requires structure and organization. It needs to focus on the thesis statement. It needs a logical flow. For example, it should include an introduction, body, and conclusion, with smooth transitions between each section. Second, effective academic writing maintains an appropriate tone and style. It should remain formal and avoid the use of personal pronouns such as I. Instead, it should maintain an objective tone based on facts and evidence. Third, effective academic writing should be evidence-based. It should not just list information, but interpret it and present unique ideas and logic. Furthermore, all content should be properly cited according to the appropriate citation style. According to the research, ChatGPT can have the effects on students affective factors such as motivation. For instance, Hawanti and Jibalibana found out that students with access to ChatGPT had significant lower stress level compared to the other student group. Ali et al. Found out that ChatGPT was highly useful and motivational for students in English class. Regarding instructional assistance, Marzuki et al. Suggested that ChatGPT could improve ESL students' writing by suggesting effective wording and detecting logical inconsistencies. Imran and Alusalaf suggested that ChatGPT could support students in brainstorming ideas and summarizing research articles. Finally, Dai et al. Showed that ChatGPT provided more detailed and readable feedback to students. Loam et al. Showed that ChatGPT could correct grammatical errors for students. A vague prompt such as "fix my writing" yields vague answer. Therefore, a student should assign a role, such as English tutor, provide a specific goal, such as fix my logical flow, as well as context, discussion about a Southeast Asian history. For instance, a student must tell the LLM's role, use prompts such as act as an English 101 tutor at the college writing center. Also, a student must set a goal, use prompts such as critique my logical flow between the supporting argument 1 and its evidences. Finally, a student must provide a context, use prompts such as examine my writing as a classroom discussion material. Let's interact with your LLM with a detailed prompt to ask feedback for your writing. Make sure you assign a role, provide a specific goal, such as logical flow, as well as context for effective feedback. Let's discuss some guidelines for accessing AI-generated feedback. A student should acknowledge that an LLM can produce inaccurate feedback and must be able to critically evaluate the feedback they receive. When it comes to specificity, a student should examine whether the feedback is actionable. Without specific and editable feedback, a student's writing cannot improve. When it comes to validity, a student should evaluate the correctness of the feedback. For instance, a student should check whether the LLM's feedback aligns with your objective and content of their paragraph. When it comes to priority, a student should prioritize LLM's feedback. In other words, feedback on logical flow take priority over minor grammatical refinement. Can you explain the concept of specificity, validity, and priority in relation to feedback on the writing task? Also, based on those criteria, can you review the feedback received from the previous assessment? Let's learn how to leverage AI support to foster metacognition and self-correction. According to Oxford Language Dictionary, metacognition is awareness and understanding of one's own thought processes. AI can not only fix student mistakes but also reveal patterns in their writing errors. For example, students may find AI repeatedly fix their misuse of and on. Based on the AI feedback, a student may decide to speak out loud your thought process in areas where a student tends to make mistakes. Finally, a student can learn from AI feedback and independently stop repeating the same mistakes. In result, a student can become a better writer. Now, let's reflect on LLM feedback and see if you can find patterns. Write about one topic and speak out loud during your thought process in areas where you tend to make a mistake. Let's learn how to find out when to rely on AI versus human feedback. Using the LLM, complete the following steps. First, provide a paragraph on a topic of your choice to an LLM for feedback. Second, reflect on LLM feedback and see if you can find patterns. Third, speak out loud about your reflection. Fourth, choose which feedback to accept or reject and revise your paragraph. Finally, submit the LLM feedback, your reflection, and your final paragraph. Thank you.